Um, as you know, I changed my beard. Today is October 1st. I don't know why, if there's no news yet about this, I'll have to find somewhere else, maybe not on CBC, but if Israel, the Zionists in control of the government of Israel are intercepting the 40 or so boats of the flotilla, bringing humanitarian aid, I want to know what's happening with the Italian and Spanish Navy ship. I'd like CBC to report on that. I'd like CBC to have special reports every day about incongruences. For example, I talked about this, that industry that relates to energy should be state-owned so that we benefit. Because even if the government doesn't invest more money in fossil fuels, what companies do, we already know the companies are not going to reinvest. They got shareholders. Shareholders are not citizens of Canada per se, right? I mean, some of them might be, but mostly it's the cartel industry people that live in Canada. So these are incongruences, right? When Premier Smith says things like this, but she doesn't want to walk the talk, say Alberta will be the government investing and taking these chances because I claim that everybody in Alberta is for this. Then, we'll make the profits, she's saying, and then you can reinvest. But right now, also, Premier Smith is, the teachers are on strike there, so you can show you can walk the talk instead of being incongruent in a way, right? And there's other things, like, for example, if I became an RCMP officer and there's like a protest, I would do my job when I'm on duty to keep the peace and follow orders, but not to hurt peaceful protesters. And of course, my sworn duty would be to protect people, not just my fellow officers, but protesters don't lose the right to be protected as well, including from my peers. So I would be sure, and if I'm off duty, I could just leave my stuff in the vehicle and go and protest there. Now, let's say I'd protest and then I'd have time to go home and take a shower, but they wouldn't let me. They'd put me back on, but none of my peers on the same shifts would go back on. Then they're pushing my limits. That means I'd be more likely to arrest one of my peers as a protester if they're pushing my buttons. And then they'd say, yeah, you're not a good fit for the RCMP. And the reason for that is the RCMP have never met a grown-up Homo sapien man. They can't relate to these kind of walking the talk of sentience and sapience behaviors. So CBC, talk about incongruences. Every day there's incongruences. I mean, if Prime Minister Carney, everybody says he wrote a book about the environment or he mentions the environment, well, what do you mean by that? Like, how do you know he's got an ecocentric worldview when even Elizabeth May doesn't? Right? Like, can you explain all of the incongruences? Like, how is he a one-trick pony with economics only and supposedly he's an expert on the environment? Like, ask him questions about this specifically when you get him on, or ask his cabinet. Like, if he wrote this, or he believes this, or he's not in denial of climate change, and he cares about his kids and grandkids, if any, at this time, and if he cares about potential family members with disabilities, why isn't he investing more in people that are in poverty and have disabilities as a vulnerable sector to live with? Like the incongruences, CBC is, man, you'd be having 2 hours of segments every day on this if you really cared about, connecting more to reality.